Hey you guys, it's Monica and welcome back. So today we're going to be making a bright tone cup using the finger method, and I'll tell you guys exactly what that is in a second. But first I do want to say thank you everyone for the kind words you guys all left under my last video. It really warmed my heart, brought my spirits up a little bit to let me know that there are still kind people on this earth, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, so we just gonna keep moving forward. And so this is a towel cup, and I picked this up at Walmart on the clearance section. As you saw, it was only $1. Why was it $1? You always wonder why stuff be on clearance. This one was on clearance because like the lids don't fit the tightest. Like I always do like a lid test to determine if I like a tumbler by filling up the cup till the brim with liquid and then flipping it over. That's why I like the hog tumblers. You can fill them things up to the brim, flip it over, and it won't leak. This one leaks, a little, it does have a little leak action, so you definitely got to be careful. So that's why it's on clearance. But I'm like, hey, we can use these cups for videos and get it popping. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going ahead and I am using masking tape, and I am taping off the rim. I'm hitting it right on the rim line because I didn't want to like it to come up into the exposed metal part. So just take your time doing this. I feel like years later now, I'm finally actually pretty good at doing this. I used to have to like rip on and off the tape for so long, but now I feel the most confident I feel like that I've been doing this recently. So yeah, and then I prepped my cup. This cup has some texture already, and so I just prepped it, of course, just by wiping it down with alcohol. And so that is 70% isopropyl alcohol. Picked it up at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna use a little bit. You don't need a lot, but it's out in the air exposed, so you're gonna want to wipe that thing down. Don't not at least at the bare minimum clean the cups. You can also just wash the cup with like Dawn or whatever dish detergent you choose to use, and so soap and water. There we go. That's what I was trying to get out. Lord Jesus, showing y'all my lovely elbow. All right, and so we're gonna be glittering using the Mod Podge method. Y'all know that's just using Mod Podge and glitter. You can see there's a new color sitting there, Starburst. I actually did this cup, and I wanted to do like an ombre with Starburst and Cupid, because I'm like, oh, let's get one more Valentine's Day cup in. And so it just didn't work out. And so that's why I encourage people, there's your people who Mod Podge, there's your people who, I think Crystal likes to make something called glitter glue, and then there's your people who epoxy and glitter. I don't epoxy and glitter because I be struggling. Oh, somebody wrote #team struggle, and I just want that person to know that I love that so much. That's like about to be like our official gang. No jumping in required. Because yeah, I love it. And so I like glittering with Mod Podge because when I want to let Mod Podge dry, and I like to see if I like it once it's dry, I can just take an X-Acto knife, cut it, and pull it off the cup. And that's icicle glitter. And y'all are like, why is she using so much icicle? I'm not even gonna lie. And I'm gonna come back to what I was just trying to say. When I had made my desk that you see me working on, that glitter that you see me working on, I had to use so much icicle glitter. And of course I wasn't gonna put those glitters back in the inventory because ugh, gross. No one wants my leftover desk glitter. And so yeah, I ended up with like 6 jars of icicle glitter that ended up being like excess. And so they all just sit on my desk, I guess, until I'm going to be done using them. And so yeah, I just have a crap ton of icicle glitter that just sits on my desk. And so yeah, but what I was saying before is that if the cup is still like wet from the epoxy, from the Mod Podge, is not completely dry, I will just put paper towels over the drain in the sink, because again, eco-friendly, we don't want to wash glitter down the drain. Don't be that person. To catch all the glitter and just rub it off, the paper towel will catch it while still letting the water get down the drain, and bada boom, you're good like that. And so like fold a couple of paper towels over, like try to get the least amount of glitter down the drain as possible. So yeah, so that's what it looks like when it's all Mod Podged up, and we're just gonna let it dry. Only did 1 layer of glitter because that's all it needed. And so this is the Crystal Light Brite tone. You're probably here because this is what you want to use. And so that is a small jar. I have a big one. If y'all didn't see me, I posted it like months and months ago, but I've been on hiatus. And so I got a little touch in here that I'm going to use. And so I always tell y'all, like the Brite tone girls, they love to brag like you can use it without PPE, even though according to their website and on the product it said you should wear PPE when sanding, but we're not gonna get into that. And so, but I am choosing to use a glove because A, nails ain't cheap, and B, I don't know, I feel like using a bare finger is like mixing your DNA in my glitter, and I just don't want that. It's like, why would you want to put your dirty little finger on my cup? Not to say that your hands is dirty, because I wash my hands before I start crafting. That's why my hands is always ashy in these damn videos. But, yeah, I don't understand the why you want to touch my cup with your bare finger, group of people. But again, you can do it. The thing is, you are allowed to do it, so do it. But again, I wear nails, and I just don't want to. So now I'm just wiping off the rim because I don't want it to come on again up onto that exposed metal. And so you're asking, like, Mom, you've been using a brush. Like, why all of a sudden do you want to use the finger method? Because I started to feel like after a while, the brush was soaking in so much Brite tone that I felt like I was being wasteful. I'm actually going to do a price comparison at the end of this video so we can see, like, we can actually see the numbers on how Brite tone compares to epoxy as far as price, because I have been under the perception that Brite tone is like astronomically more expensive than any epoxy. And so we're going to do those numbers at the end. So stick around, or if you ain't, you're not here for the commentary, just fast forward and you can check. And so this is the big boy. That's a quart, 32-ounce quart of Brite tone. And so we're going to keep going. But yeah, and so I stopped becoming a fan of the brush because I felt like I was going through it so fast. And between what I was losing on the brush, what the brush was soaking in, me washing it out in the sink, I just felt like I was losing a lot of product. And I'm like, all right, maybe the girls that be using their little dirty finger is on to something. So let me see if I can get the same quality, because we put on epoxy with our finger, right? So there can't be that much of a difference, right? And so I'm like, let's do it. Like, we ain't got nothing to lose. We're trying to, again, January, last video for January, we're working on our techniques. We're trying to get better. We don't want to be masters at anything, but I like being a jack of all trades, master of none, because it's worked for me thus far in my 30 years of life. All right, so that is how it looks after 4 coats. And so I had to start getting smart about how I was going to do the price comparison and all that jazz. And so, and plus I wanted to use up that little bit. And so now I am actually switching over to a little squeeze bottle. I didn't completely fill it to the top because I wanted to take into account what I had already potentially used from the previous coats. And so, yeah, that is a 60 ml bottle, and I will do the comparison at the end compared to 60 mils of epoxy, which is what you would typically use between 40 and 60, but we're going to keep it at 60, what you would typically use when you epoxy a cup. And I just want to point out, these handle cups, girl, don't be afraid to stop that turner. Stop the turner, stop the whirl. Get it, you want to make sure it's covered. So yeah, don't ever feel like you got to, cause I'm in the type to sit there and try to keep catching it though, because I'm a glutton for punishment sometimes. All right, so after 6 coats are complete, this is what we're working with. This is what it looks like. It looks really good like this. Honestly, 1 or 2 more coats and you would have been done if you didn't want to do any kind of vinyl, but I did want to do vinyl, and so we're going to sand it. And so that is a more coarse grit. I don't know the exact grit. I want to say it's like a 100. It's pretty gritty. And y'all know I always say I like a quick takedown. And so Brite tone actually doesn't require that much sanding. And like I said, they did say on their website, if you are going to be sanding their products, you should be using a mask. I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I just feel like the internet's such an interesting place, because people will literally sit there and be like, I'm using Brite tone for my kids and my pets. But then, and because you don't need PPE, it's so much safer. But then you see their ass in Target without a mask on. You be like, sis, you don't care about anyone. You don't care about anyone. But that's saying that kind of channel. I'm not Fox News or Alex Jones, so we will continue. But yeah, I am doing I'm sanding over like the parts that I feel like need like the most sanding with the 100 grit sandpaper. And then what you're going to see me do is I'm going to come back across the whole cup and finish it with like 1000 grit paper. And so the goal here with Brite Tone is very similar to epoxy, but Brite Tone, you really want to make sure it's smooth when you get done. I feel like epoxy, you can leave like a few lumps and bumps here and there because it'll level out, and Brite Tone is self-leveling as well. But you definitely want to make sure it's completely smooth, and you can definitely see those like little ridges and valleys, and you just want to smooth them out, and it doesn't take much work. I will say that my hands don't cramp up when sanding Brite Tone like they do when I sand with epoxy. And so what I'm doing now, I'm just taking a wet paper towel and quickly just getting all that dust off, and then I immediately follow with a dry paper towel because Brite Tone technically takes 30 days to reach full cure, and so it's still very soft when you are working with it at this point. Like I've noticed that maybe after like 2 or 3 days, if you wait to sand it, it will be a little more rigid. But like at this point, like if you take it, if it hasn't been long, then it definitely does feel a little more just not as cured. And so people are always going to ask me how much time between layers. Once again, the packaging says 3 to 4 hours. My coats are all between 3 and 24 hours because when I was just working on this Brite Tone cup by itself and nothing else at the time, and I forgot it was in there because I wasn't going in my craft room every day. And so, yeah. But yeah, at least 3. I think most people always leave me a comment and want to argue with me and say it's 4. So, girl, they know better than I do. I just got here. So this is only like my 3rd Brite Tone cup. So if they say 4, girl, do 4. But like I said, they were all between 3 and 24 hours. All right, and so I'm gonna put a little decal on it. And so this is actually vinyl that like was covered in hearts and polka dots. But the way I cut it and where it's cut and the size of it, you can only see like 3/4 of one heart, which is fine. It's still red and white. It's still giving what it's supposed to give. You know, that's what the kids be saying. And so I'm gonna use like proper technique here and line up the layers by doing like whatever they call this. I think they just call it layering. Y'all know I don't be knowing the right terms. Don't ever repeat any term you hear me say because it is more than likely wrong. And so yeah, that's just red. Damn, did y'all hear that? Oh, I gotta stop. Hold on. Okay, so now that my heart rate's calmed down a little bit, my washing machine tried to run away. And so my desk setup is like right next to the laundry space, and yeah, I thought someone was trying to kick in my door. I'm not even gonna lie. And I live in a nice little safe neighborhood. You know, the most thing going out here is kids stealing in Target on Friday nights. But yeah, let's go ahead and finish this cup up because I'm shook and I don't think I got any more commentary to share at this point because that got my heart racing. And caught it on camera, crazy and on audio. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this up. And you can see the product in the bottles coming down. And so honestly, I feel like my goal was to try to like get through the bottle. My initial layers, like the first 6, I worked very thin. But the problem with working very thin with Brite Tone when your cup is on a spinner, I feel like it dries. I feel like and it kind of proved my point, when you're using the finger method and you're working very thin, you can feel that Brite Tone already start to dry up on you as it's spinning. Whereas when I was using a brush, I always felt like it was like kind of thick and like you had like time to work with it. I feel like, but when you're using a finger method and you're working like that thin, it definitely is drying much faster, which I guess, is a good thing. Depending on what you got going on. So now I'm just using a Q-tip. I'm just doing the most, honestly. I'm just like, I be experimenting, y'all. I'd be like, did I like the paper towel better or do I like the Q-tip? They both work just fine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a few more coats on that. And let's do a little comparison. And so both of these are compares in which I have bought the quart size to the 32-ounce size. We already established that there are 32 ounces in a quart, so these are of equal size. I am doing the pricing based on buying directly from Crystalac, including the price of shipping. And then Counterculture DIY medium viscosity resin is available on Amazon. And y'all didn't hear this from me, but it's $5 more on Amazon, but it costs $11 to ship on the Counterculture DIY website. So you're actually saving $6 by buying it from Amazon. I used to link Counterculture DIY in my, that's if you have Prime. I used to link it in my videos, but now I started linking Amazon, and that's not because I just want y'all to click the damn link. It's because I'm trying to save y'all $1 over here. You know what I mean? It actually really is cheaper buying it from Amazon. So yeah, with that being said, we were comparing apples to apples as far as size. Again, 32 ounce size products and using 60 mils. And I used almost all, you know, I had like a little bit left of the Brite tone. And again, I would use 60 mils, 40 to 60 mils on the cup, but saying 60 mils. Brite tone is literally 26 cents more expensive than using epoxy on a tumbler. So there actually isn't much price difference. I was actually surprised to see these numbers. I thought there was going to be like a big price difference, but there actually isn't. So I was happy to see that. I feel like if you buy a big enough size of Brite tone, you're actually right on par with epoxy cups. So, you know, makes sense now. So we got all that information. We know the dealio, and this is how it looks after completing 14 coats total. Oh yeah, and I didn't seal this cup. I used Brite tone to seal the cup. I just thought about that I didn't mention that. But yeah, this is what we're working with. So if you like these kind of videos, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thumbs it up. Follow us on Instagram at Period 6 Designs. Follow us on TikTok at Period 6 Glitter. Check out our website. We have glitter rhinestones and all kinds of other things. Period6glitter.com. And I will be starting to post up these cups if anyone wants to buy it for cheap. Just pay for the cup and the shipping over on the website. And that's it. So leave me a comment below. Let me know how your day is going. And I will see you guys in the next one.